Now, our next guest hasn't been on our program in a really long time, and we've missed her dearly. So, considering that there is some huge wedding going on that's dominating the news cycle, as well as Lindsay Lohan going to jail, you know, the really important stuff in this world that matters, oh, I think that her return couldn't be more adequately timed. Joining me from our studio in New York is Wonkette blogger and comedian Sarah Benincasa. Sarah, so nice to have you back on the program. We've missed you.
Thank you. I've missed you too. I've been traveling a lot, and I'm really excited to talk about the most important marriage of two rich white people ever.
Well, I mean, can you tell me, could you give me one reason, aside from, you know, perhaps maybe that princess fantasy that we all have as little girls and wanting to see the big dress? Just give me one reason, aside from that, why I should care.
Oh, because everyone who's going to be a part of this wedding is basically a poster child for skin cancer. It's the palest wedding I think that's ever taken place. You've got at least one person in that marriage who is woefully inbred, documented as such, seems like a real nice kid. But Lord love him, I mean, that gene pool is just a messy, messy cesspool. Catherine Middleton, I think probably will be bringing some fresh genes into the mix. So that's very important because eventually the Windsors just aren't going to have the correct number of toes anymore. So I guess from an evolutionary Darwinian perspective, maybe you should be intrigued by this.
That is probably the most interesting thing that I've heard about the wedding. You know, for weeks, ever, maybe. I love that take. Well, you know, since you started talking about the jeans, the toes, I do want to show you a clip just so we can really get a chance to look at what Will's dad looked like back in the 80s, and I think we all know what he looks like now. So let's play it for you. What do you say about his moves?
I'm sorry, I thought this was the Alona show, not the Turn Sarah On show. Whoo! Sex machine. Damn.
That was from the 80s, too. But, you know, I think you did bring up a good point, too, with the whole Kate Middleton being thrown into the mix. At least this time around, we are living in 2011. She doesn't have to be a virgin when she gets married to the prince anymore. We know that her and Wills have been boning for years. I think that, luckily, that we can take a little, you know, breath of fresh air here, that the royals are moving on into the 21st century. But let me just ask you, because the media, if you've been watching, has devoted so much attention to this, right? Networks have sent entire teams over. MSNBC's Morning Joe has been there all week. They're doing news stories or doing their entire programs from there every single morning. But if you look at a recent poll from the New York Times and CBS, only 6% of Americans say they actually have been following this. Aren't we in a recession? Aren't all the cable networks strapped for cash right now after covering the Arab Spring and the Japan earthquake and nuclear disaster and tsunami? Why the wedding?
Yes, but that all pales in comparison to getting to see a skinny, pretty white girl in a white dress. Sorry. Also, did you know that there are no wars going on to cover? So they just have to, it's like there are all these people just sitting around going, ugh, I'm a foreign correspondent. What am I going to cover? What is my assigning editor going to send me to do? Because there's no important wars happening that really ought to be covered. Oh, I'll go to a wedding. So that's good. That's great. That's making our populace smarter.
Maybe they're trying to reignite the Revolutionary War or something, you know, talk a little crap on the Brits while they're there. Now, I just want to segue to one more story. Lindsay Lohan, we all know she's a train wreck. We all enjoy watching it. She has to do community service, as well as go to jail for 120 days. And listen to what she wants to do. She says she can teach acting classes to the homeless. Do you think that's what homeless people really need?
Is she going to teach them to act like they have homes? Because that would be fun.
I just can't get over it. I mean, if you're homeless, you probably need, I don't know, a bed, a pillow. You probably need a blanket. You need some shoes. You need some food. And yet Lindsay Lohan is just going to grace you with her wonderful talent and teach you acting classes. Can somebody please explain the Hollywood mentality to me of why they think that that's okay?
Yeah, I think that what these people need to do, rather than have all those things that you said, is just sit in a circle and do improv games and talk about their feelings and then pretend. Maybe they can pretend to be happy and pretend to be fed. That would probably be fun for everybody. She is awesome. Can we get her on your show, please, now?
I will be making sure the producers send out a request tonight, and maybe, you know, maybe she can teach me how to act like I stole or, you know, didn't steal a necklace, and I'll just happen to have a few extra diamonds laying around. Sarah, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Alona.